So, how to awaken Kundalini energy is a bit of a loaded question, but I am going to share with you today my experience with Kundalini energy and how it has awakened for me and how I have seen it awaken for others, flow through others, how I've seen other people respond to it, and what I have learned through my own experiences, as I mentioned, and also my own research, and how it is going to flow through me today as I speak with you. So, Kundalini awakening is a flow of energy. So we have, for our Kundalini, an internal flow of energy that begins in our root, our hips, specifically our root is our groin, our base. And this is, just like it sounds, it's where we are rooted. So we're like a plant. We are growing our foundation, and this is where everything begins. This is the core of who we are. This is our identity. This is how we see ourselves. This is everything that has made us who we are today. Our past experiences, our childhood, our interactions, everything that we have kept with us. This is in our root. Now, we also have many parts in between, but we're going to focus on our root, our center, and our mind. And within our center is, like it sounds, it is what centers us. It is what brings together the foundation of who we are and the thoughts, our mind part of us. It is our feelings, our emotions, our interactions with other people. It is how safe we feel to express our ideas and our personality, to let ourselves be seen, the root of who we are. So ultimately, this energy is flowing circularly. It's flowing up, it's flowing down, it's flowing this way, it's flowing that way. It's moving to all the different parts. And our center is where we feel who we are. It's where we feel love. It's where we feel our life force. It's where we have our solar plexus. It's where we breathe. It's where we experience it's where we experience most of our human emotions. And then within our mind is where this information is coming to you from now. This is where we process what we feel, what we see, what we hear, everything around us. And our mind, it tries to make logical sense of everything that we experience, and this is where it gets a little funky. And within our mind, making logical sense, that can go, we'll say, two ways. It can go many ways, but we'll limit it to two right now. So the mind making logical sense, this can even now as I'm speaking, it's getting fuzzy, but the mind making logical sense, this can help us understand better who we are, what we feel, the world around us. And two, it can confuse us. It can make us less certain about what we know, who we are, our existence, why am I here? These questions that we cannot answer. And within that, like when we get to a point where we say, I understand that I feel what I feel right now. I understand that I see the parts of me that I can see right now, that I see my past. I see where I'm rooted. I see how some of my past experiences are affecting me now. I see how I'm affecting others. I see myself. I see others. I see my place for what I can see right now, knowing that that is just a piece. Like, what we can see is here, and it's always kind of here, and then what exists, what we don't know, is up here, and it's always up here. Now we kind of move, well, we move upward, ideally always moving upward a little bit, but this is infinite up here into what we can see and what we can know. So it's really not a moment ever of, oh man, I know now, like, I'm enlightened, I am awakened, I know it all now. That's not the goal here, and I don't believe that that exists. I believe that it is an infinite journey. It is a process of growth, and we continue to open, expand a little bit more as long as we keep our minds open to it, and we continue to flow through our body with this energy. And it is always a matter of working with our root, our foundation, our life force, our mind, and ultimately the core of our work, we could say, would be in the base, in the root, because if we are not rooted, we do not have anything else. But also, we need the other parts as well. We need the rest of our body. And we can focus on those pieces, but to focus on our root will naturally strengthen the rest, will naturally cause that upward expansion, and then that energy flow, connecting all of the pieces that we cannot necessarily see or explain of what's being connected. Okay? So if you're still with me now, we're going to go a little bit deeper. And from here, understanding that this is an infinite process, understanding that this is an energy flow from our base to our center, to our mind, and everywhere in between, circular, this way, that way, zigzag, all the ways. We can begin to see, okay, how do I awaken Kundalini? Well, by watching this, by being here with me, you are already opening up your mind to just the possibility that there is something more than what you're currently experiencing. You are opening up to learning about Kundalini. You're opening up to different ideas. You're opening up to different people. And that process, that is how you awaken Kundalini, how you become more spiritually connected, how you continue along this journey. Specifically Kundalini and spiritual awakening, and looking at those two pieces, and whether Kundalini is spiritual awakening and Kundalini awakening and spiritual awakening. So these two, there are different ways to become enlightened, to become aware, and there's many, many, many ways, and Kundalini is one of those ways. And none of them are right or wrong or better or worse than the others. They move differently, they flow differently. I don't have experience with all of them. I have experience with Kundalini energy, and I have experience in martial arts and plants and my world around me, my perception of reality. And so with that context, Kundalini is one avenue for spiritual awakening. And if that speaks to you, if you're interested in it, then follow that nudge. If you find other areas that you're interested in. Again, there's so much out there that is also equally valid. And so a Kundalini awakening is a spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening is not necessarily Kundalini, but all are good and valid and can be explored if you desire to explore them. Just use your own discretion, your judgment, and what feels good and aligned for you. And so for Kundalini awakening now, understanding a bit of that energy flow, right, from the root, base, center, mind, and understanding where Kundalini kind of falls within the spiritual awakening process. Ultimately, like, a part of that mind piece is that you really don't have to think too much about, oh, should I do this one? Should I do Kundalini? Should I do Reiki? Should I do Qigong? Should I do this or that? All these different pieces. All you really have to do is tune inward and allow yourself to like what you like, to follow where you feel guided to follow. Of course, using your discretion, using your mind as well, but leading with what do you feel, what do you like, and accessing that part of yourself. And with that, if you are looking for how can I awaken Kundalini, some places that you can start. If you're tell me where to start. I know I need to start with feeling, but how do I feel? How do I know what I feel? How do I know which directions? Just start. Start with, here's a few of those. You can start here, pieces. Start with a yoga class. Start with reading a new book that you find. And you're like, man, this looks cool. I want to read this. Start there. Start with a music lesson, an instrument. Start with going outdoors in nature more, gardening. Start with poetry. Start with interacting with the people around you more. Start with listening to what other people have to say. Start with, this is really where it gets very broad. Start with anything there. And that, I think, is actually where I'm going to leave you guys. Start with anything. And if you would like more direction, if you would like a question answered, you can leave that down below in the comments, and I'll be responding to those. And I'll see you guys back in the next video. Bye guys.